Hey, I'm Kevin from Q. This episode of the Q and Ask podcast got a motherfucking sponsor. Tactical Distributors, you're on fire. They carry all kinds of cool shit, man. I got my fancy tiger stripe summer pants here that everybody loves. I skate in those. I go to the club in those, pulling honeys all day. If I actually wore, anything to go in my pool or hot tub, it'd probably be these board shorts. They're also tiger stripe. Things like these Ultima boots, the maritime boot that are awesome. I don't even know what that means, but these are summertime hunting boots, thin sole, like skate shoes. They're lightweight, they breathe, they repel the water. A cool thing about Tactical Distributors, all right, number one, cool motherfuckers. Number two, their return policy, simple, easy. I never know because I got like the fat feet. So this could be a 10.5, could be an 11. I don't know. Order two sizes. I pick one, send it back. It's no trouble. Just get a little label, send it back, cost me no money. TacticalDistributors.com, promo code, I don't know what you call it, whatever code at the end, all right? Unpossible15. Unpossible15 gets you 15% off. TacticalDistributors.com. Give them a look. All right, you goobers. So here today, it's a different cast. So it's me, as usual, Kevin Brittingham. Jay and Adam are not here. And I got some bones to pick with them when I see them. But Ethan Lassard, so best buddy for like 15 years, head of our engineering. His 5-year intern, Drew, one of our, I don't even, are you still junior? Yeah, you're probably still junior engineer.
I'm senior pretensioneer.
Yeah, but junior engineer.
Yeah, I'm head of pretensioneering.
But you got an intern now.
I'm also the technical
ginger.
Nope. Yeah, technical ginger. No, I'm head of drone maintenance.
Oh yeah. Jay's best friend, that asshole. But
I don't know if we're best friends because he took like 2 hours out of my day to make me fix that fucker.
Well, you did.
But on the other hand, favors.
I know if you can't get a girl, get a
Jay.
Get a cute boy with long hair.
Let's get a scrunchie.
Scrunchy. Banana clip. And
all right.
And my bestie and personal fave, Chad Johnson. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, you nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Wait to hear what you have to say. As long as Drew keeps acting like he is, I don't have to worry about any pressure. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know, God. You keep speaking this clearly. We're not even going to need subtitles.
Yeah.
So you
can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, we hung out together for a long time.
Yeah.
What?
So Chad came with me from Georgia. Him and his lovely wife Sabrina.
She's amazing.
The translator.
She's the same.
So you guys have been together since like the second grade.
Yeah, off and on since second grade, and haven't been apart since 13.
Oh, it's in year 51 now.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you and I went on our first hunt together, I don't know, a decade or so ago when we met, that it was a week-long hunt, and I did not realize the Siamese connection that you guys had.
Oh, yeah, it's deep.
So
it's a little weird.
I think I'm on the wrong podcast.
Hey, Drew, we were there for like 3 days, and Chad, he's always happy and positive and just full of energy, and he's a fucking stud. And we're there, and he gets all down, and he's all depressed and like all sad, and I didn't know what had happened, and I asked him. He's like, and this is only so at this time. So they got together when they're like 8 years old. So he's like 43 at the time. And I said, Chad, man, everything okay? He's like, man, I ain't never been away from Sabrina this long. I miss her. It's like 3 days.
Oh, you told me about it.
And I was like, holy crap. I didn't know that kind of stuff really existed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You spend time with you guys, and, you instantly see it. And
she's good.
I know it's like you won the lottery with that
Oh, I
because, man, it's hard to tolerate a son of a bitch like you for more than.
True story.
And you find someone that can actually understand you.
Dude, the first year Chad and I hung out, literally I understood like 30% of them. So Chad and I have been out here for a couple weeks. You guys been out here a week.
I actually didn't know Chad was here. You were posting pictures on social media, and I was like, "Oh, Chad's there." I was excited. I hadn't seen Chad in like over a year. So
Yeah. So you've been missed at the office, man. I tell you, everybody. There's not a day that goes by there's not a Chad or Sabrina comment or story or something.
We miss everybody. It's a
Man,
awesome group of guys.
I'll do some
and gals.
testing. I'll get back from the range at like 5, and I'll leave the guns on the table. And I come back in the morning, and they're not clean. And I'm like, what happened?
The
Where'd
night
Chad
cleaning
go?
service.
I know. Chad was good.
Yeah, couldn't
But,
stand it laying on my table all night.
Yeah. So the first week, Chad and I, we did a bunch of shooting. We took our ladies to Yellowstone. Yeah, we had a great time. We had a couple days where it was not 100 degrees, which was awesome. Yeah, so it's been a good time. So you guys came out to Wyoming. So we're at High Bar Homestead. So this is Drake Clark from Magpul's place. He's been a friend of mine and Ethan's for a long time, probably 15 years. It's a beautiful place. So this is northeastern Wyoming. I guess this is sort of like the Black Hills foothills or something. I don't know. We're involved in that, and it's beautiful here.
It's hot as shit.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's this hot. This must be unseasonable or unseasonable.
Definitely unseasonable.
Yeah, so it's been what in the 90s a bunch of days.
Yeah, not 98
Most days,
the other
yeah.
day.
Yeah. It's very windy here though,
Yeah.
which is not conducive to the extreme long range that we wanted to be doing.
You get to learn a whole bunch, though.
It is fun because we're all going to Africa in November and going to do some shooting and killing, and it's good practical experience, especially shooting up in the hills in the unknown distance range.
Yeah, and it's with windy conditions. We were teaching Matt the other day. Matt, the
Matt,
intern.
your
Who's Matt?
intern.
Matt, the intern. We're teaching him like he's shooting out to 1250, so he's poking stuff out there, and he's taking his time between shots because he's.
You should not say poking. It means something different when you say it. You little slut.
All right, that's fair. He's shooting stuff at a very far range, and he's taking his time between shots because he's still working on his fundamentals. And at a certain point, we're like, all right, you got to shoot quicker. Like the wind conditions only stay the same from shot to shot. So like the longer you take, the more stuff changes.
Yeah, so
the same thing.
So for those who don't understand, we're in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is on the ocean, 45 minutes north of Boston.
Usually, not right now.
So be quiet. So we're between Portland, Maine, and Massachusetts, or Boston, Mass. And so Matt, how far is he's from Lynn, Mass? So
he's from Lynn. Yeah.
So that's right outside of Boston. That's a suburb.
Yeah, it's about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. So had he ever shot a gun before he came to work with us?
He said a little bit, but not.
Just drive-bys.
Yeah, robbing liquor stores, whatever.
Okay,
whatever.
So you, Drew, I know it's amazing because he seems very responsible. But you and Matt were in the same fraternity.
Yeah,
because you seem like a fucking train wreck. And Matt seems like Matt seems like a chap. Like
grown
he's
up.
solid.
Grown up.
yeah,
Solid.
I mean,
Tiny, but a grown up.
Yeah, he is a little grown.
There's all sorts of different people.
So he had never really shot. So we come here. So he's only been working with us probably 6 months or so. Comes here, never really shot a lot. Never had experience at these distances. So we're shooting from 0 to 2,000 yards here. And so you're talking about we were up practicing in the hills yesterday and day before, shooting unknown distance, preparing for Africa.
Yeah,
every one of you have come to me and told me that he did incredible.
He did great because actually yesterday there was one point where we were ranging for each other and we were spotting each other, and he was off by the side. We were gonna go segments, but he just started shooting, and no one was ranging or spotting for him. And I was like, well, that's a good learning experience, I guess. I guess I'll figure. And you hear 3 shots, and then the 4th shot he hit. So he was actually like
Start
being
making
able to see,
corrections.
calling his own shots, and actually making adjustments. So that was awesome.
It's
And
good.
at the range that he's shooting at, like up until this week, I had never shot a target more than 650 yards.
It's good that you recognize that in your new supervisor.
Supervisory position.
Yeah.
I know you got a big department now, Ethan.
At least they're getting smaller as they come, though.
I know.
Easier to manhandle.
They're getting so skinny.
But it is funny. People talk shit. Like you talk about range and stuff, and we have a known distance range here to 2,000, and then up in the hills, it's only unknown to like 600. But we're shooting at extreme angle and very small targets sometimes, and uncomfortable shooting positions, which I wanted to encourage everyone to do, because in Africa, when we're hunting, that's real life when you're hunting. And, man, you can be dead on sitting at the bench or going prone at 600 or 1,000, but when you're talking 400 and it's a 4-inch circle and you got to hit it, off your bipod sitting next to a rock, like it's a different thing.
No,
Yeah.
it's a good experience. Like definitely shooting from uncomfortable positions. Sometimes I'm just holding a circle.
Well, that's
Like,
all.
you can't get that stable, and then you just.
Well, I hate to tell you that I didn't go to engineering school, but I understand this. That's always what you're doing. You always have a wobble zone. It's just very small when you're prone on a bipod with a bag or on a bench.
And it just grows bigger the more uncomfortable.
Yeah, if
situations
you're not
you get in.
stable, it
Yeah.
shows you need to sport the gun.
And I'm actually curious. Like when we go out to Africa, I've never been in that situation before, so I'm fine shooting at it
Because you were also from outside of Boston and never really shot guns till you came to Q.
Not at all.
All right, so you've never been in the African fixed shooting position.
No, I've never shot big game in my life. So when you're actually in it, looking at that as opposed to a piece of steel on a hill, I'm wondering if I'm actually like confident enough to take that shot. Like I'll shoot all day up here because I'm like, well, yeah, if I miss, I just take another shot. But out there, it's different.
Not really. You do the same thing. You get back on target. Chad, my man. Chad and I have been hunting together for a decade. I mean, I don't know how many hours we have spent day and night hunting pigs at night in Georgia, deer hunting. Oh, and it's that's the great thing about hunting. You go to the range, you shoot steel, paper. You kind of know what's going to happen, unless we're about to get to some stuff for Ethan with 8.6. And when you're developing new stuff, you don't know what's going to happen necessarily. You can predict some things, but when we go out hunting, I mean, it's just a different experience every time. You never know what's going to happen. No. Sometimes you shoot from the Jeep. Sometimes you shoot from the tree. Sometimes you get prone.
Sometimes you take your pants off.
Oh, we did that in Texas, didn't we?
Yeah, it was hot as balls.
Oh, my God. Okay, so we'll sidebar here. Ethan and I, this is when we were developing, I think, Subsonic Expand. I don't know what we were doing. What were we doing?
Getting naked in the woods, it sounds
we
like.
We get
Nailed all of that.
Ethan and I have gotten naked together a bunch of times. Never for sexual reasons, always
Just
because it's really hot.
Temperature
I mean,
based.
the sex happens, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah, it wasn't about that.
No. Side benefit.
Borrowing some friction from a stranger.
Yep.
So,
I'm box blind.
Yeah, box. Oh, my God. In South Texas, we were in a box blind that was all steel. Chad, you can relate to this. You know what a box blind is. Like Drew's lost because he's from Boston and Ginger.
It's like a big smoker.
box.
Big smoker.
Yeah,
For dudes.
We're in there, and it was 100 degrees, and Ethan and I ended
Outside.
up. Yeah, so 120 inside this
At
little
least.
oven, and we were in there for like 4 or 5 hours. I don't know. We were drinking though, but we ended up in our underwear. I took a picture and sent it to our women at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like so hot we're sweating.
This sounds a whole lot like a sauna.
It's
just
what
like
it felt
that.
like.
But you have guns.
With guns.
Yeah, and you're watching animals.
Yeah.
Sounds way more fun.
Are you guys familiar with the show Ridiculousness?
Yeah. Rob Dyrdek and
Yeah.
Chanel West, that
West Coast.
god awful laugh.
And Sterling or whatever, the dude that does the videos.
Actually, I did go to see a.
Yeah, that's a cool story,
rip-
bro. So, do you know what their logo is, Ethan?
I do not.
So it's a person doing a scorpion, because the show, is all about people fucking
Getting
up.
fucking hurt.
Have you ever seen any of your friends? Let's say you're running behind them, and they fall down and they scorpion. You see their belly button from the back because they scorpion. Have you guys ever witnessed that?
Nipples
Not-
sometimes.
You have sometimes? Yeah.
Not in
Nipples?
person.
Oh.
Yeah. Rough.
Well,
that is a bad one.
Ethan, I thought it was rare, but let me just tell you a hunting story of my buddy Chad over here. So this was no more than, let's say, 2 months ago, Chad?
Yeah, about 2 months
about
ago.
2
Yeah.
months ago.
Yeah.
So there's Chad and I. We hunt with our other bestie in Georgia, who his family owns a lot of property in the county where we are, and he has a pig bait site. So we're hunting hogs. And he's got a bait site with a trail camera that's hooked up to a cell. So it texts him a picture every time there are pigs or there's some animal there. So our buddy gets a text. He's working. He sends Chad the picture. It says, hey, there's pigs there right now. Chad and I, we're at Chad's house, or I got an apartment over there in an outbuilding. Because Chad believes there's ghosts in the outbuilding. Somebody stays in there, so I do. So that's another story. Anyway, so Chad and I jump in the Jeep. We race over there. I got the honey badger. Chad's got his fixed 6'5", 16-inch barrel with his trash panda on there. He's got a little red dot on there because we're shooting pigs 100 meters. So my man can shoot. So he's like, whatever. And so it's lightweight. We got our new Edgar Sherman shout-out slings on with the Sling Devils.
Yeah, those things are awesome.
Yeah. And so he and I get close. You know, we get within whatever 500 yards. We park. We walk in. We get around there. We're probably 120 out, I assume.
Probably.
And so they're in the timber, probably 70 yards. We're 50 yards outside of it. I take a knee. I don't know if you took a knee or not. I think you did. You didn't?
No, I didn't that time.
So we're like, 1, 2, 3, shoot. And so we do that.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I cheated
It
with
ends
you.
tragically.
But I was honest this time. I didn't shoot on 2 like I did with you.
No, he didn't. He was straight up.
So we both shoot a pig. Chad shoots a bigger. He's got a good angle on a big one. He shoots it, just fucking drills it. It drops and it like pokes his head up a little bit and it's like trying to move a little bit. And so what do you do, Ethan?
Shoot it again.
Exactly.
That is the fucking answer every time.
And that's normally what my buddy Chad Johnson would do. But what he decided to do was to
Usain Bolt it.
I gave him a sling, and now all of a sudden he's like, we got to chase shit down. So he slings a gun, and he just starts running. And I remember, because normally he's the voice of reason in our relationship.
Chad Johnson don't run.
Nah.
No more he don't.
Never seen him run. Chad Johnson, you do not want to be in a 100-meter dash with him. I'm just telling you. And he started running, and I remember just still being on a knee, and I was watching the pigs. I mean, his pig was literally going like 1 inch a second. Like, it wasn't really moving. And we both made good shots. And I said, he just took off running. And I was like, Chad, I don't think we should run. Did I say it?
You did.
I did.
That's the last thing I remember.
I mean, he is high stepping.
This is
I'm like, it must be real bad if Kevin's telling me not to run.
No,
but
I
was
told
like,
you so.
Yeah.
So there's a trail down in there, and there's vines kind of across the trail. You always trip out over, and you're going to take feed down there. And so I'm like, when we hit the timber, I'm like, I am being careful. So I start high stepping at a slower rate, but I'm following Chad because I'm like, man, I don't want to trip. I mean, and I was like, I cannot believe how fast Chad Johnson is. Jesus. And I mean, he is just hauling ass. I mean, he's a streak through the woods. I mean, he's setting land speed records in Banks County. And all of a sudden, and then I'm like, man, I hope he doesn't trip. He's carrying that gun. It's going to be horrible. And the pig is still like the pigs were both where we shot. And I'm like, And, I'm like trotting, but I'm following my buddy because I didn't want to run either, but I feel like you got to follow your buddy. and then all of a sudden, he gets clipped by a vine, Drew. And maybe you see this because you watch a lot of football. So maybe it's like, the hand tackle trying to grab the foot.
Just trying to grab the leg.
And they just nick it, and it's a little stumble. But
so you don't actually get taken down by it. You just like.
But you start taking the fast steps. And I see him in the gunslung. I can see the buttstock, and I can see the silencer, and I see him. But Chad is like moving. I mean, he's literally like lightning. And I'm like, he's going to run this out. my man, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. Well, like, he's not the same weight as he was in 1988.
Fucking momentum.
Oh, it did.
My
And
head's a little too heavy.
and next thing I know, Chad is parallel to the ground, 5 feet up, airborne. and he's going. I was like, oh, God. He's going so fast. I just kind of like start slowing down. I was like, that's going to hurt so bad. I'm just like, oh, I hope he doesn't hurt himself. And then, boom, and there's dust. And Chad's like, ooh, and then he stops. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that didn't look too bad, I guess. And then I was like, oh, my God, he isn't stopping. And next thing I know, his feet raise up a little bit. And he keeps going, and they raise up more. And at that moment, his face was pretty much the only thing on the ground, and I see his shirt drop down, and I saw his belly button from the back. I was like, oh, a scorpion. Why was I not videoing? And then all of a sudden he, boom, and he stops, and I'm like, oh my God, that had to hurt. Like, I didn't know he was that flexible. Like,
He's
I'm
not.
not.
He's not.
the heels of his boot left a mark in his head. And he stands up, and he gets up with the gun. You know, my man Chad, he's a proud guy. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, you know, I don't know, like 20 yards behind him. And I keep walking, and he turns around. He's bleeding all out of his face already. And I'm like, oh, God. I was like, Chad, man, you all right? You know, just trying to be like, neighborly. And he's like, no, I'm not all right. He was fine 2 minutes later, but
I kissed the scope. I had that sling on. I couldn't get it up so far. I kissed the scope, and that's what cut me in. But
Thanks,
my
Edgar.
gun had just a little. Yeah, thanks, Edgar. I could have got it out in front of me. It might have been a lot worse. But I just got just one speck of dirt on my scope.
One little
That was the
nugget of
thing?
dirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what you worried
I
about.
cradled
Chad
my
looked
baby.
like he had been in a car crash.
Yeah,
The
I-
gun looked like it had never touched the ground.
I felt like I'd been in a car crash.
How
What-
many
what-
car crashes?
I'm more concerned. What did it sound like when you talked to him? After?
Oh.
Because
It sounded
I just figured I was rolling in my head with a hole and trip and a scorpion.
it sounded like this.
You should have seen it. I saw your belly button from the back.
I don't remember what he said other
Hey,
than,
Chad, I
no,
love
I'm not
you.
all right.
No, I turned
I
and
just
shot
couldn't
the pig
understand a
again.
goddamn word you said.
Yeah,
He
it's
did.
always been that way.
He did shoot the pig. We got the pigs. I mean, I shot basically a piglet.
that's the only thing you had you could see in your vision.
No, well, bless you.
You probably shot 3 more if I wouldn't have ran. But I don't do it anymore. Like 2 weeks later, I was hunting with a buddy of mine, Eric, and
You're like, hey, easy
we were out in the field.
Easy
yeah,
does it.
And
Chad told the story as I'm the one that's scorpion.
no, we're out in the field and we're getting on some pigs and it's in some tall stuff and we shoot, and he never hunted before he hunted with me, and you shoot them, you run up, try to cut them off, and he takes off running. I'm like, don't run. I walked up to where they went to. So
Yeah, I
Chad's
mean,
fucking
learned a
tiptoeing.
lesson.
yeah.
I'll be there.
High step.
Yeah.
Well, to Chad's credit, where we hunt, if they go
Down the hill.
25 yards, you never
Yeah.
find them. We're in the mountains,
That's
so
a
it's
lot
tough.
further to drag too. But if it goes there now, it goes there now.
What are you going to do? Go get it?
yeah. I have
Yeah,
to.
rather drag than scorpion. That's the moral
Yeah.
of the story.
Yeah.
I'd rather pretend like I didn't hit it. Miss?
Problem with the pigs, they scream at you.
Yeah.
Miss?
All right, so before Chad tells the Kevin story, so Wyoming 8.6. Ethan, this is the most shooting we've done with 8.6 ever. Is that fair?
The farthest we've shot, absolutely.
And your goals were to test velocity of all the loads and everything you're developing, and then spin drift. So explain these things.
Yeah, so spin drift with very fast twist barrels is an unknown. We have equations to model it, but I'm unaware of anybody actually testing it in real life.
So everything else is like the Coriolis effect. Like if you shoot far,
Well, that's
it's
different.
because the Earth's spinning,
Yeah,
not because of the bullet.
Yeah, the Coriolis effect is different. Like the Earth is spinning, so you have the potential of windage or elevation, depending on which direction you're shooting. Whereas spin drift is purely based on gravity and how fast the bullet is spinning.
Okay, so 8.6 blackout, basically 300 blackouts, big brother, 308 base guns. We have super and subsonic, so for gas guns and bolt guns, full mag capacity. So that's what we're testing. You have super and subsonic loads out here, but one of the things we've learned since in our 300 blackout was the faster we can spin the bullet with the subsonics, the better dispersion, which most people would say accuracy, but what that means is dispersion. So if you're holding
Group
the same,
size.
yeah, group size. And then also what we've learned is since then the bullets open easier when we spin them fast, including the subsonic or supersonic. And so that's an advantage if you're shooting supersonic at range, right? Like it's spinning faster,
Yeah.
the bullet's going to open. If you have a hollow point or a bullet meant to deform for defense or for killing, it's going to do that easier at distance with a fast twist, right?
Yeah, so we carry more energy rotationally than most bullets just because we're spinning faster.
Okay, well, we'll start with that. Okay, when we talk about energy with 8.6, so it's not that we're creating more energy, but we're just not wasting as much.
Well, we're converting more of the chemical energy of the powder into kinetic energy of the bullet. So typically when companies look at energy at the muzzle, it's how fast the bullet is traveling in a linear direction.
Yeah, why have they never measured rotational?
Well, because for the most part, it's insignificant compared to the linear. So
Yes.
you might get 4, 6, 8, 10 pounds or 10 foot-pounds of energy of rotational compared to 2,000. Whereas as soon as you start spinning in the 500,000, 700,000 RPM range, then you start seeing hundreds, 200, 300 foot-pounds of energy, where it's a significant percentage, especially downrange.
So you said like 500,000 to 750,000 RPMs. What is a 16-inch 308 with a 1 in 10 twist?
150 to 200,000 RPM, generally.
So, and you told me like basically stopping rotational velocity doesn't occur as quickly as linear velocity.
Well, it's momentum. So you have rotational momentum, linear momentum. The amount of effort required to slow either of those is difficult.
But it's not equal.
So for the bullet, when it's traveling through the atmosphere, drag for linear velocity is a much bigger component than drag rotationally. So the bullet spin decay is much slower than the linear velocity decay. So the bullet slows down linearly a lot faster than it slows down rotationally.
Okay, so why are we seeing well, I mean, I guess you answered the question. That's why we're seeing the difference, like when you see the gel test you did with the discrete ballistics, and we did the split screen, there's the 1 in 7 and 1 in 3 twist, and it looks like the initial wound cavity with 1 in 3 is 2 to 3 times bigger than the 1 in 7. That's all, and that was the same barrel length, same muzzle velocity, linear velocity.
Just different rotational RPM.
Why'd you go with 1 in 3 for 8.6?
Well, so
Because 338 in general is 1 in 10.
1 in 10, 1 in 12. You'll see some 1 in 9s and custom guns, but that's just for the super heavy 300 grain supersonics.
Yeah.
We settled with 1 in 3 because it gives us the best combination of subsonic, supersonic, what's available on the market for projectiles right now. If we could just limit it to terminally performing subsonics and monolithic supersonics, then we'd be down in the 1.25 to 1.5 range.
Yeah, because we tested, what you tested to 1 in 1?
We've tested down to 1 in 1. At 1 in 1, the 338 bullet can rotate supersonic and travel linear subsonic. So your subsonic will be supersonic just because of rotation.
So it's loud.
It's loud, but not going real fast.
The worst. Oh, that's cool. So, with 8.6, like we've all shot a bunch of it this week. So the goal was to have, from my perspective, and then I want you to correct me and add where you think you should. So when we started, 10 years ago when we did 300 Blackout, we wanted its big brother, and we started with 338 Federal. But what you discovered quickly was the case was too long for us to load big subsonic bullets. We couldn't fit them in the magazine, the action. They had to be seated too low into the case. So we shortened the case up. We did a 6.5 case. We were working with Hornady a little bit on that. But was to have something that could cycle a gas gun, work in a bolt gun, full mag capacity, no mag modification, cycle the gas gun super and sub without adjusting the gas system, all the things that we have with 300 Blackout. And it seems like what we learned, and we learned a little too late with 300 Blackout because of the adoption of the military, but was we need to spin the bullet faster to get better dispersion, better accuracy, we'll say, with subsonic. And then we find out, well, okay, it's opening the subsonic expanding bullets more reliably because a rifle cartridge or a rifle bullet, the bullets are long and pointy. So having a little hollow point of those, they generally rely on linear velocity, going fast to open. So if we're not going fast, how do you make them open? Spinning them fast helps a ton. So we learned all those things. And I got to say, after shooting the gas gun and then shooting the bolt gun with both, like I think we're definitely on the right track. We're on the path, like we've done it.
Yeah, it's basically 300 Blackout plus 300 meters.
So good. Well, maybe a little more, huh, Chad Johnson?
Maybe.
Yeah, because we did a lot of the tests. It was, I remember the first couple of times I shot when we built 338 Federal guns, and we shot that with the full power supersonic. It was horrible. This doesn't seem to shoot. I mean, the recoil impulse with the supersonic's better than I was anticipating. The accuracy with the subs are better. We were able to get dope. Chad and I did yesterday out to 500, and then this morning, Chad and I went out with subsonic before all of you were up because y'all sleep in because y'all young, to 1,000. And Chad and I both made hits at 1,000 with subsonic. I mean, that's what, over 3 seconds of flight time with subsonic. And we were able to hit still a 36-inch round target. That was highlight of my trip.
That was awesome.
Chad's a good shooter.
I thought he was going to hug and kiss me when he made that first shot.
I jumped up, and I've never been more excited to make a
you
shot
were
in my
excited.
life.
I wish I had it on video.
And we jumped in the truck, ran down there. I want to take a picture and all in case something happened.
Yeah.
But, man, that was incredible. And you know what was so cool is even at 1,000 yards, and people who shoot that on still know, if you're shooting 6.5 or 308, if you got much wind, it's hard to hear, the impact. So the audible feedback or reaction of the target, if you got much wind or anything, it's not easy to hear. This was loud.
Yeah.
It was like ringing a bell. Because I guess, Ethan, the subsonic 8.6, it's going, let's call it 1,000 at the muzzle. What's it going at 1,000 yards? Linear.
850, 875. Like, it's getting real close to what 308's doing at 1,000.
Yeah, so 16-inch 308. What's it, the same? Is it subsonic at 1,000?
It's subsonic at 1,000 generally.
Okay, so
for 175, like gold medal match, yeah.
So you have a 175 grain bullet. Let's call it 1050. Let's be generous. 1050.
Sure.
At 1,000, and you have a 338 300 grain bullet going 850 at 1,000.
Yeah.
What gives you more energy at 1,000?
You're gonna have way more energy with the subsonic 338 or 8.6. It's almost 25% more.
And that's just due to the mass.
Yeah, the mass.
And we're spinning faster, so
if you ignore rotational energy, you still have a linear kinetic energy advantage.
it ain't as easy to shoot. I'm gonna say that. Like shooting 1,000 yards with subsonic.
Yeah, if you start subsonic, it's a
8.6.
long way to go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wind.
We didn't have a huge optic either.
No, well,
We had to turn it down.
Chad's been making shots with his 1 to 8 at 1,250 yards all week.
Right on.
Yeah, 308. He's chasing pigs at 100 meters. Jesus Christ. Scorpion.
Stretching my legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Without running.
He's hitting targets across the hill with
Well-
it. I went to use it, and I was like, I'm lost.
Well,
I'm
we
coming
have
in.
what's
Shoot this
the
fucker.
mount I've got on my 8.6? Is it 20 MOA mount?
It's a 20 MOA Night Force mount.
Yeah. So then it's a Mark 6 Leupold 3-18 with a Horus. I think that one's got an H58 reticle in it, but it's got 25 mils, I think, in the reticle if you're at hardly any power. But it was 16 mils at 500 meters. I think it was 16 mils, about there.
Yeah.
And so then I dialed another 4, and so it got us to 20 mils, and then I held 23 or 24 to make the 1,000 yard. So Ethan, we've got what, almost 50 mils of drop.
Yeah, the chart says 49, but
Okay, so 49, and that's probably 150, 60 feet.
of drop, oh yeah, it's all of that. All of that.
Yeah. So Chad and I got up early because at 5 a.m. because it's cool. We don't have thermals, we don't have mirage, we don't have wind, and it's not 100 degrees. And we got it done. We both hit it at 1,000.
And you come back 2 hours later after breakfast and hit it on your first shot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that was super lucky. That was so cool because for those who shoot 300 blackout, it's still subsonic, like 300-400 meters. Like you can hear the impact; it's faint. There was no problem hearing this. Like it's hitting
It was
the
hard
target.
to wait though for the time to expire. For it to get there. It takes so long to get there, and then you're like you want to start talking before it has time to get the sound back to you at 1,000. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, when Chad made his first hit at 1,000 with it, I was celebrating because you have to dial back, so have an 18 power optic, but you got to go to 6 or 8 power to
Yeah, it
get
was way
the
down.
The holdover.
the holdover in the Horus reticle. And so Chad shoots, and I'm looking through the spotting scope, and Drake's got lights on these targets, so when you make an impact, there's a light that comes on, but it's small. And Chad didn't see it, and I saw it, and I'm like, "Oh yes, you hit!" I'm freaking out, and Chad's like looking at me. He doesn't even know what I'm talking about. He can't see the little light, and then you hear. And so after I shut up, it's like 4 seconds later. It's like, dong.
Yeah.
So Chad got a dong this morning.
That's the only dong you got this morning?
That's the only one I got this morning.
Yeah. You slept in, Drew. What
Yeah,
can
you missed it. If you'd been there, you could have donged too.
I was, you were getting dong, and I was dreaming about it. So
So what all? I don't know. What all testing did we do this week? Like we shot a bunch, but the main focus for you to get that was you were using the lab radar system, and we had problems with that because of what? The silencers and subsonic ammo.
Yeah, and our general understanding of the system was a problem.
step 1 was read the manual, and I think we started at step 3. So
Yeah, so
that'll
the
cause
silencers
some
are
issues.
quiet, and it uses a microphone to trigger the radar, so that was a problem.
Yeah. So basically to get muzzle velocities out of subsonic, we had to
Take the silencers off.
Yeah, which is stupid and
It's
horrible.
dumb, but we're gonna get the air gun module and call it a day.
Yeah.
But no, we got a lot of good velocity data, spin drift data, because as soon as you start getting these fast twist barrels, spin drift becomes an issue at distance.
I was so excited this morning because it was far. I mean, I was just anticipating the worst. And from 500 to 1,000, I ended up dialing, but 1.5 mils of windage.
Yeah,
and some of that may have even been the wind. We didn't have much wind,
Not
but it's
much.
probably
Just a little.
spin drift.
No, but for the subsonic, the spin drift isn't that bad. But for the supersonic, it is. It's considerable. It's
Okay, well,
like 1.5 mil at 500 or 1.5 mil at 400.
Well, okay, that brings us to another question. With 8.6, people will say, "What's the effective range?" Which is such a stupid question, but I get it. You
Define
don't
what the
it's-
effect you're requiring.
Yeah, yeah. What you're wanting. So let's say our first offering, the 12.5-inch barrel, which is what we shot 1,000 with today, Chad. Me and you, nobody else, because you and I got up and we're awesome.
Yep.
12.5-inch barrel. If you want to shoot, okay, so that black bear right there with subsonic, what's the effective range?
I mean,
that's probably a what do you think, Chad? 450 pound bear? That's big.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on wind and your firing solution, like 4, 5, maybe even 600, depending on how comfortable you are with it.
I was going to say after shooting this morning and everything, and we shot, from 2 to 1,000, 300 to 400, I'd take that shot on that size animal all day long.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just wind and how comfortable you are with your range estimation. Because that's the other thing, too, is if you're off 25, 50 meters, like it makes a big difference elevation-wise.
Yeah, so the idea, make sure you get a good range, carry a rangefinder with you, know your dope. What about supersonic? Because, I've probably killed something at the longest range so far, and it's just 225 meters.
Yeah, 600, no problem. Like 210 Barnes, the bullet will do the work. You just got to get the bullet to it.
Okay, so but out of a 12.5-inch barrel, the 210 Barnes is muzzle velocity of what, around 2,000?
We're getting like 2080 to 2100.
Okay. At what range is the bullet still working, you think, as far with the fast twist helping it to open? What range is it expanding?
It's in the 750 yard range, but
okay.
Once you get to like 750 yards, then you're talking like 1-2 mils of spin drift.
Yeah.
You need to know wind good. You need to know drop good. You need to know your range really well.
Okay, so thinking about, let's say that 99.9% of the shots in America, especially East Coast, are inside 300 meters, and 90% are inside of 100.
Yeah.
So is there a distance where 308 is better if you're hunting?
It's a much longer range, and it's just because of hit probability. It's not because of terminal performance.
Yeah, so great. This is a light, compact gun, 12.5-inch barrel. We made hits this morning before you guys got up for breakfast at 1,000 yards.
It's quiet.
Oh, man.
It's
I
quiet.
thought you were shooting a 22 this morning. It's like 50 foot below us. And
joke's on you. I shot a 22 and just held up the fix. I was like, it's 86.
yeah. No, Kevin's like, that's Ethan. He's not shooting a 22.
No. So, yeah, Ethan was in so we were at the firing line. Ethan was 3 stations over from us. Chad was, I don't remember who was.
Hungover. Chad was hungover.
Yeah. I was hung over the spot and scope.
God, I wish that one needed subtitles, but it doesn't. It was clear.
We can still put them in.
I'm sure you'll add something.
But you shot. First I saw the car, I never saw you, and then I asked Nick, who was in the station next to us. I said, "Who got here?" He's like, "Ethan." I said, "Oh, okay." Never saw you, and then I started, and Nick was shooting a 6.5, his hunting rifle. He is so stoked for Africa, he just keeps shooting. And but then it was so ridiculously quiet, and Chad's like, "Who's here?" I said, "Oh, it's Ethan." He's like, "He's shooting a 22." Kind of said it like that, actually. And I said, "I doubt Ethan's shooting a 22. Oh, that's a 22. Look at how quiet that is."
Yeah, it was like a short erector or something on a rifle. That's crazy quiet.
Yeah, and I asked him, and he's like, Ethan's like, gave me a stupid look. I'm shooting 8.6. But it seems quieter than 300 blackout to me.
Yeah.
And even supersonic. So you said because the linear velocity is, the Barnes 210, 2,000 to 2,100 feet a second on a 12.5-inch barrel. With a silencer the size of a Thunder Chicken, it's quieter than most supersonics. And that's due to the linear velocity?
Yeah, so there's a range between like 126 and 134 decibels for supersonic. So as soon as you get up to the 28, 2,900, 3,000 feet a second, like you are looking at 130, 132 decibels, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But once you start bringing that velocity down, you get into the mid to low 120s until you get to subsonic, and then at subsonic velocities, the noise the bullet makes is pretty much fixed.
Well, it's true. I mean, when I was shooting in Texas a few months ago, when I texted you and to verify the loads that you sent, because at the 100-meter range, it sounded like subsonic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm super excited about it. I mean, there is no doubt. I mean, Adam and I did some marketing stuff with Thomas at the 100-meter range, and we shot still from 100 to 25 meters. And, one instance, we were at 25 meters shooting still silhouettes. Adam and I just taking turns side by side, and he was shooting the 8.6 out of the gas gun, the Noveske, with a 12.5-inch barrel. And I was shooting my Honey Badger SD, and I'm hitting the targets. It's like dink, dink, dink. And his were completely wrecking the targets. It sounded like you drove a Brinks truck into it.
He's a much better shooter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that was good. Well, hey,
I heard about that.
You know what Thomas did like 3 days ago?
Crashed your drone and recovered.
Oh yeah.
No,
got
he just landed it in a tree.
Yeah.
But my man,
And then he slowly took it out of it.
he had to take those tight pants off so he could climb, get some flexibility. He climbed a tree, got that drone, brought it down, flew it again. Didn't
Yeah.
crash it, didn't break parts, didn't take any time away from engineering.
Didn't skip a
cost
beat.
us anything.
Didn't skip a beat.
We were flying 2 minutes later.
Flying high.
High until, we hit the limit a couple times, actually.
It's bound to happen.
So Adam and I shooting the plate racks, which was funny, and I hope he got some footage of it. So I'm shooting and, knocking them down with 300 blackout, the minifix. Adam is shooting them, and I look over and and I thought like I was listening to his, and I heard hits, but then I look over and most of his plates are standing up, and I was like, oh, did he hit the cross brace? He's hit the 300. So the 8.6 subsonic 300 grain bullets hitting them so hard they stand back up. So it's like a self-resetting
Bouncing off the
plate rack.
the tire.
Yeah, I mean, bam, hitting so hard it bounced back up. So that was pretty cool to see. So we got to do a lot of good stuff this week. Yeah. So what was tell me about the first time you met Ethan. So you were a young man in your 7th year of engineering for a 4-year degree.
Yeah, senior year, man. Best 3 years of my fucking life.
And you met Ethan. Tell us about that.
Well, I actually didn't even meet Ethan because I wasn't.
This is totally different than the
Remember
prep
that
story you
Remember
told
that time
us?
you met me?
No,
Oh, I didn't meet him.
no. The time I met him, but
Still haven't.
But the first interaction wasn't me. It was my roommate and the captain of the team for FSAE, Formula Student Automotive Engineering. It's an international competition. Ethan started it at UNH,
University of New Hampshire. Go Wildcats.
University. Go Cats. In 2004, he started the first team against the will of everyone at the school because they were like, "You're not going to do this competition."
And they absolutely dominated the national event.
And he was like, "Yes, I am."
We won every drinking title they had.
Yeah.
So while I'm sleeping and not working, Ethan comes by the shop because Katie's got a swim meet at UNH. So he was like, I might as well stop by the school and see who they are. So he gives my roommate and the captain of the team, Keller, the card. And just like, call me if you need help designing stuff, building stuff. Like, we got equipment. We can do stuff. So Keller comes back from actually doing work and wakes me up. He's like, hey, some guy came by
This
today.
sounds like this morning, basically.
Every morning.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Jesus, grow up.
And he's like, hey, we got this guy, like, Ethan said he would help us with stuff. Like, they got a company in Portsmouth. Like, they got all these equipment. Like, okay, so I'm designing a part. I reach out to Ethan. He's helping me design it. He's like, yeah, let's go for lunch, and you can come by the place, and we'll talk about it. So go out to lunch at Stoneface. Great lunch.
Stoneface Brewery. So
Stoneface Brewery. Great beer. Great food. And Bill comes around, and I put my card out on the table, trying to be a nice guy and trying to help out. I'm like, yeah, like, take this. And Ethan just slides it back across the table and is like, no. I'm like, all right, well, I have to insist. So I just, there was no warning. He was just like, all right, fling, hums it across the fucking bar like a ninja star. And I'm just like, this is my first time meeting. I only knew you for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I go over and I'm picking up.
This
and I'm
is
like,
the real world the
There-
college
there's
is
like-
telling
there's
you
like
about.
a family with like kids. I don't know why they're at the brewery because they got little kids. There is a kids menu, but I'm still like crawling under like a table, like trying to find my card. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry about this. I'm like, what the fuck? So I've never tried to pay again. Anytime I'm with Ethan, and he goes to
Humiliation's
pay,
a powerful
I
tool,
see,
man.
I'll see other people like pull out the card. I'm like, should I let this go or should I warn them?
No.
There's no reason to ever try again.
Everyone should learn on their own.
Yeah, threw it straight across the bar. So that was first. That was the first time I ever met Ethan. And then we came back, and then I met, I believe I met Nick.
Yeah, no one cares about that.
No,
What
no.
what about your interview?
My interview, I didn't actually know it was an interview. So for that same team, FSAE, we had an alumni event to try and raise some money for funding the car because UNH, you can go fuck yourself. You don't give us any money. You give a fucking RC car the same money you give an actual race car. So you're assholes. But so we had to raise our own money, and we had an alumni event to like sell T-shirts and do stuff and try to make some money to pay for stuff. And that was at Red Hook Brewery.
Yeah.
And
I'll see a pattern.
Bad.
and Ethan came, and we're all, the banquet ends, and as we're walking down the stairs, Ethan grabs me and he's just like, "Hey, like you guys, like let's go have some drinks." I was like, "All right."
Sure. Blame
so-
Ethan.
So me and Keller, who's I think the only people he really cared to talk to, was like, "Yeah, like anyone else wants to come." So like the other half of the team comes sit down, and then Ethan just puts on a fucking show of drinking.
No, not Ethan.
like I was like, all right, this guy can drink some fucking beer. another round would
the
come around.
UNH, like I don't know, Ginger Fraternity and U.S. District Court knows this now.
Yeah, I thought I could drink, and then I realized I could not. But just buy another round. Like eventually, it just tapered down. There was one end of the table that was me, Ethan, and my roommate Keller, and the rest of the kids on the team. And it slowly like dies down that everyone's like, "I'll just take a water," and it's just the three of us just still drinking. And I'm telling them every fucking dumb story I've done at UNH, how I got suspended, how I got kicked out, like every time I got arrested. Like,
Okay,
which was
okay,
only twice.
okay.
It was only twice, but I'm telling them everything. And like finally, they shut down and they're like, "You guys got to go." And we're like, "Okay." So we go out to the truck and he pulls out.
Ethan's
he,
like, I got beers.
he pulls out a 4-pack of Apocalypse out of his trunk. He's like, "Hey,"
From Stoneface.
he's like,
better
he's
beer.
like, he's like, "Hey, I think you'll like this one." And to this day, that is my favorite beer.
Aw.
And
So make right.
and we take it out and we get in the car and we're driving back and it was me and Keller knows me, so he knew exactly how it went. It wasn't a surprise to him, but we're with one other teammate that I've never hung out with them, and she was like, "Why the fuck did you tell him all that stuff?" I was like, "Well, why would I lie? He's gonna find out eventually." What do you
Same
mean, hide who
fraternity.
I am? And then like months later, I'm talking to Nick at work, and I told him about that, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I heard the story. I know." Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, that was your interview." So that was just to see if you could hang and if you were, if we wanted to be around you. He's like, "That's the only reason." that happened."
I mean, it is funny because I think about, I've talked about it on previous podcasts, and my passion is still so strong for our industry, and it's whatever 28 years later, and Ethan and I have both grown up in the industry, and I love the innovation. And it takes more than the smartest guy to develop the best stuff. And you got to have the passion. You got to have a good team. You got to get along. The camaraderie. The willingness to sacrifice and put the hours in. Just like everybody being here. So we're here for 2 weeks. You guys are here for a week. This being away from your family and all that stuff. And I think from my standpoint, what we got out of this is what I hoped. We all work together. We all see where we stand with this, the developments, what's realistic, and it's exciting for me to see, because what I would expect from everybody, but particularly me and Ethan have worked together longer than all of us, is we should be smarter and better than we were 10 years ago. And I mean, I think we've witnessed it every day here. You know, whether it's the guns, the new silencers, testing the steel silencers, the 8.6 subsonic, supersonic. Like Chad and I set our alarms this morning at 5 a.m. Like, hey, those assholes can stay up till midnight. You know, I mean, part of that's because we're jealous because we're older, but it's like
we sure can. And
yeah.
we did.
And we're going to go to bed and we're going to get up at 5 and we're going to get out there and have 2 hours of good weather and, you know, no wind, no heat. And we're going to see what we can do and, you know, how this is doing. And man, what a great time. I mean, it's a great time to be alive, great time to be in the industry. And even though it took you 7 years, Drew, we're proud you're here. I mean, and it's a testament.
It was actually 6.5.
Yeah. Tell yourself and your mom.
Just
but
just to be clear.
I mean, the team, you know, it's like I know Ethan brags about having the worst GPA in the history of UNH
you know,
engineering.
That's actually another thing. As my advisor came to me because she had like the spreadsheet and all the math, and she told me my 6th year, she was like, "You have to meet this to graduate." And she did the math wrong, but initially she was actually had the spreadsheet, and she was like, "You need these grades in these classes to get a 2.00."
You don't get the Lassard curve.
So she actually messed it up. So all I needed to do was pass my classes to get to graduate because my GPA was higher than she thought it was. But I was joking, and I was debating because I just wanted to beat Ethan because he had a 2.09 or something. And I was debating I was like, what if I do pass all these classes and I like only needed a C, but I got a B in it, and I go to the professor and I sit in his office. I'm like, yeah, I have a problem with that grades. You gave me a B. I was a C- at best. How dare you?
You know, I think that's what's great. I mean, I think personality-wise, when you got a team that's trying to do something, because you know, Ethan and I continue to take on larger projects, and it's not just what I want, what he wants, and it takes more people, and having a team and everybody that can get along. And you see it here this week. Like, it's been great. Even, you know, your intern, our new guy, Matt's
great, man.
He's awesome. Fitting in great.
He works his ass off. He before this trip,
that hard work does a lot more than the smartest guy. I tell you that.
He's put on some
before this trip, I was cleaning my 6.5 in the back, and everyone else had left, and I just thought I was alone because it was like 8 at night. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just finishing cleaning it, and then all of a sudden he pops up over my shoulder. He's like, "You need help with anything?" I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "You're still here?" He's like, "Yeah, I was just working, doing drawings." I was like, "Fuck yeah!" No, he's putting in the effort.
That's good. You know, in the years that you have been with us, I've had people come to me more than one time, aggravated that you come in at 10 a.m. a lot, and I'm like, "Yeah, but how many times have I seen you here at 10 p.m.?" And
my hours are just shifted. I know. I keep trying. I keep.
Hey,
trying
you don't
to
have to talk
it.
your way out of it.
I keep trying to correct it.
I mean, we continue to see your maturity and growth, and you know, by the time you're 40, you'll probably get there at 9:15. But you know, I mean, that's what, you know, to me, that's been awesome to see. You know, the engineering design team, the hours that are put in when necessary, and you know, people want to know all the time. You know, what's it take to like do what you guys do or be in the industry? You know, and I'm like, I don't know, but if you want to be awesome, you got to sacrifice. You got to put the time in, and it ain't punching a clock from 9 to 5.
No,
it's getting it done. And so, you know, and I don't know how many times you've probably been at the office after midnight more than anybody, I would imagine.
Sometimes because I'm working, sometimes because I got a little bit tuckered out.
Past out was different.
But no, yeah, I don't know. My hours are shifted, and I would like to shift them back. Because the one thing Nick told me early on was like,
nobody wants to see you there.
He was like, if people need you, and like if you are the only one who can answer a question, you should be there when they're there. And that's the one thing I think about.
It's
every time
probably
I come
maturity,
over.
like as the company grows and y'all's department continues to grow, and you take over certain aspects of projects. You got to be there, yeah. But
you know, just if I'm just looking at me and the work I do, and like not, you know, helping other people, which I need to do, but as myself, as soon as like everyone leaves at like 4, 5, 6. And I'm there for another 4 hours. I am so productive. I'm just cranking shit out because I'm like, no one's talking to me, no one's bothering me.
That's the exciting stuff. And as the company grows, like understanding that where we have, we've got a marketing team, we've got the engineering design team, you have production. Production needs to be different than the other things, and that's just part of it, and that's okay. And, I hope this time I do a better job with this company of understanding that, managing those cultures, and babysitting all of you, and doing the things necessary.
Kind of grew so fast that, the engineers were doing the production.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they take over. So when I want to test stuff, I want to do stuff, I'm in production's way because we only have so much space, and
you gotta stay out of the way.
I'd rather do it at night when I'm not like, hey, can I take over this bench? I'm like, I'll just wait till you leave, and then I'll
it's tough. It's part of the company. You guys design the stuff that generates the money, but production's what pays the monthly bills and gives the raises. That's just kind of part of it.
They are the workhorses.
Yeah, you got to
deserve all the credit.
Yeah, you got to respect all the parts of the business. All right.
That's why I just try to stay out of their hair.
Yeah. Great job. Great job at that. All right. Yeah, great job.
Yes.
Let's ask HR how thick your file is.
Tell you what, you show up 4 hours and they're not there. It's a great job staying out.
Yeah, he gets it.
So we're all going to Africa
Mm-hmm.
to hunt this year. Chad, what you taking? I bet I know after the last few days what you taking.
Yeah, that 6.5 with that little bitty 1x8
16-inch barrel, 6.5.
Yeah.
Well, you got a trash panda?
Trash panda, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's lightweight, and
Oh yeah.
you've proven lethal.
Yeah, that works well.
Yeah. What about you, Drew? What you got?
Well, I think I should take a 16-inch, but I'm so comfortable with that 22 proof barrel. Shout out to Proof. That 22 6.5 proof barrel I've been shooting this whole time. I think I should take that.
What optic you use?
I use a 525 EOTech Voodoo, and the H59 is great.
Yeah, it's good. You shoot far. It's nice having the horse reticle where you got holds. And
My first real actual experience with it, other than targets and like paper and steel, was North Dakota. We were shooting prairie dogs.
oh,
So
your prairie dog shot video.
Yeah.
So what's the name of that on YouTube so people can find it?
fuck if I know. I don't know. It's called
Good name.
I think Prairie Poochie Coochie Carnage.
Is that really it?
That's so much better than fuck if I know.
It took me a minute, but
Prairie Poochie Coochie Carnage.
Prairie Poochie Coochie Carnage, yeah. But
Can you spell that?
No,
I
No, you
can,
cannot.
but I
Nope.
won't. But no, like that was my first time actually using the H59 out like in the shit, and it was nice because we're all shooting, so we're not spotting each other because we're kind of in competition trying to outshoot each other and see how many we can kill. So it was nice that like in the wind, in everything we were in, like I was shooting that stuff's it's such a busy scope that you can see everything in it, that I would take a shot and I would make an instant adjustment. I like could actually see it, be like, all right, half a mil, that like it's got so many dots and hash marks on it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I missed. Move, hit it. Like, all right.
Graph paper.
Did you win?
No.
No, I think Mitch won just because the last day he wanted to shoot so much. He wanted to run out of ammo. Like,
How many rounds did you guys shoot?
3,000. We hand loaded.
How many days?
3 days. 3 days, 3,000 rounds. And we shot.
How many prairie dogs do you think you guys shot?
We guesstimate about 1,200. Like, we did not bet. Well, so my favorite part is that you bet us first before we went. You were like, you won't get 500, and you bet us each $100.
I think it was 100. I bet
No.
you each wouldn't kill 100.
No. It was you guys will not kill 500 prairie dogs, and you bet us each $100 for each of us that we won't kill 100 prairie dogs. So we all brought counters.
Isn't
We
that
got
what I said,
counters,
100?
and we were counting the whole time. And the first day, we woke up at 8. By noon, we sent you a picture, and it was the three of us holding our counters together, and we were over 500. We're like, thanks for the money, motherfucker. And then it was just carnage after that.
Because before it was not carnage.
Yeah,
Slaughtering.
that was
the shit out of prairie
necessary.
dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're going to shoot in Africa. You think you're going to take the 22-inch?
I think I will, yeah.
Well, I think you should if you're used to it.
No, it's what I'm used to. That's what I'm comfortable with. And
Ethan, what are you going to take to Africa?
10-22 with an aim point. And some Chad stories.
I don't even think it would surprise me. You going to take 8.6 or are you taking...
The plan is if I can get our projectile done, I will only shoot subsonic terminally performing 8.6.
Nice. I think I'm definitely taking 8.6. I'm going to take some supersonic because I'm going to try to kill Cape Buffalo. I'm going to kill a Cape Buffalo.
Hey, that 210 barns, like,
Yep.
there's not much I won't kill.
Yep, I agree, and
I mean-
we're gonna prove that out right here.
4 or 5 of them.
I just want to shoot a kudu. Man, they are so cool looking. I've never shot big game in my life. All I've shot is prairie dogs and raccoons and little shit. That would be really satisfying to put down a kudu.
All right,
Big
we'll see if we can make that happen.
I appreciate that. That'd
You're
be
welcome.
fun.
You're
Never
welcome.
shot big game, never talked big game.
I've certainly never talked it, let alone shoot it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 8.6 and my 6.5. That beautiful blue and gold gun. So sweet. So hopefully we'll have silencers this time. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So Africa's going to be a great time. We're going to have great experiences and stories. And that, the great thing is, it's like every time, Chad, you and I go out at night pig hunting, we never know what's going to happen.
No.
And sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes we freaking slay them in a melee, and sometimes we both shoot the same one like a couple idiots. And sometimes we let it run at us, and we waste 2 magazines of ammo, and we shoot it 10 feet from us.
That's right.
But anyway, so the 50th episode. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you to the listeners or viewers or followers.
All of the above.
All of the above. And he says 50th, but I'm not sure that last one counts because Adam and Jay, that's just being irresponsible. So anyway, I think that's it. Anything I know you want to say something. Ethan, anything you want to say?
What do you mean?
Good job, Chad.
Thank you.
Great job. And Chad, we miss you dearly and wish you were there, but we're glad
miss
you're
y'all.
home with your kids and your grandkids.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, we miss y'all. It's good to be out here with y'all. Seeing it's been almost a year since we've been up there, so.
Yeah, a great time. Oh, we have done some stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, man, you shot a wolf at 1,250 yards with an 8-power scope with a 16-inch 6.5.
Yeah.
If it weren't the fix, it probably wouldn't have happened. I mean, I'm not saying that's a fact.
Well,
but
who would have anything but a fix?
idiots, that too.
Yeah, that's right.
Or assholes.
Idiots and assholes. That's who has other guns. All right. Well, thank you guys.
And Chad, I love you a lot, but I don't understand the fucking thing you said today. So.